Family that left me on the streets at 16. Now 30 years later want to apologize and make up for lost time. Okay. As a mild larker on Reddit, thought I would share my story and newest development in my life after 30 years. Might be a bit long, but will do my very best to give you context without too much fluff. Hope this is the right sub. So I lost my mom when I was 12 to breast cancer. So that just left me and my dad. It was a tough time, but we got through it together. When I was 14, Dad met and married my stepmom Ashley, who brought with her my stepbrother Mark, 14, and stepsister Emily, 12. I got along with Ashley and Emily really well. But Mark, not so much so. He and I were always getting into arguments and fights. I was always told by my dad to give Mark a break, because he's been the man of his house for a while. So this is all new. Like somehow it wasn't new to me. Anyways, when I was 15, I met a girl at school, Lisa. And we started dating. As much as one can date at 15. However, Mark apparently had a crush on her, and was mad that I asked her out. He started a fight over it, in which my dad had to intervene once again. And somehow I again was made to be the bad guy. One day after my 16th birthday, my stepmom was putting away my laundry and started yelling. Which was awkward because my girlfriend Lisa was there. We all ran thinking the worst. When we got to my room, my stepmom was holding several pairs of my sister's underwear, yelling at me, "Why they are in my drawer?" I had no answer as I'd never seen them before. Of course no one believed me. No matter how much protesting I did. Then Mark piped up saying he always caught me staring at his sister, thought it was creepy, and caught me once saying I wish I could marry her. Obviously lying, but that was all it took. Lisa slapped me and called me a perv and told me we were done, and walked out. My dad grabbed me by the arm and threw me out of the house, yelling at me that he wasn't going to put his daughter at risk from a perv, not the word he used. But you get it. I banged on the door to be let in, crying and telling them it was all lies told by Mark. My dad apparently had enough. I heard the locks. He opened the door and shoved me to the ground and told me to get lost. I told him I had nowhere to go and he said that wasn't his problem, then closed the door. I found myself on the streets, with nothing to my name. No place to go. I tried calling my dad's parents, but he had already called them, and they told me they won't help a perv. My mom's parents passed away before I was born. Well, I lived on the streets for 2 years, doing what I had to in order to survive. No kid should have had to do what I had to do, in order to just live, just saying. There were some really dark days. Lots of therapy later in life helped me with this. Shortly after I turned 18, I found a job working at a boxing gym, states away from where I began this horrible journey. I worked there for years. Learned the sport, never gonna beat Mike Tyson, but was good at the sport, which helped me with my hate and anger. Then one day met a new girl, Eamon, 20, female, at the cafe down the street from the gym. So at this point I was 35, I know, huge age gap. But we just clicked. I don't believe in fate, or soulmates or any of that stuff like that. But if there is such a thing, we had it. Don't know how else to put it. We dated for 2 years and then got married. Her dad was an electrician, and hired me on afterwards. I think mostly to know I would be able to support his daughter and know I was doing right by her. But also in case he needed to keep me in check. He never said this, but as a dad, I get it now. Well, 15 years later we are still together with 4 beautiful daughters. I just passed my master's license as an electrician. Thanks to my wife for pushing me to get my GED. She has been my rock, my cheerleader, my overall support through this all, and I can't tell her enough how much she changed my life. And how much I love her. Anyways, sorry for the tangent. So just this last weekend I received an email from my stepsister. Not sure how she got my email address. But I know it isn't hard via the internet. Not like I've been hiding. Mind you, I'm now pushing 53. So it's been 30 years since I've heard from any of them. It was a long email. Not gonna give you all of it, but the meat of it is, they now know what really happened. Mark, I guess, was busy drinking with his buddies on Friday, and somehow my name was mentioned. Mark, I guess, started bragging how he set me up and took my girl. Yup, Mark and Lisa got together, married. All those years ago. They were all laughing, hoping I died on the streets, bunch of rude and vile stuff. Guess he forgot Lisa was there, and she heard it all. She called my stepsister to let her know, and so Emily spent all weekend trying to find me. Like I said, the email was long. Short of it is, they want to apologize face to face, although it was already said in the email multiple times, and want to make up for lost time. I'm however indifferent to the idea. Like, I have no ill feelings towards her. She obviously was young and had no real say in the matter. But with lots and lots of therapy, I learned to let go of that hate and anger and to let go of them. As well with all the love I receive from my wife, kids and in-laws, it's all I really need. I'm of the idea of just deleting the email and moving on like nothing happened. My wife thinks I should at least respond back. Even if to say something snarky like thanks for finally believing me, only took over 30 years. Did I mention my wife has a mean petty streak to her? LOL. She's awesome. Guess not asking for advice, just wanted to share my story. There is a boxing quote that I have up in my house that reminds me every day. To see a man beaten not by a better man, but by himself is a tragedy. Comments. Comment 1. Interesting. I'm with your wife on this. I'm petty like that too. Question for you. What happened to your dad's stepmom? Any mention of them in that email? Perhaps for final closure, simply respond you appreciate them reaching out after 30 years. But you have a great life without any of the people who would throw out a 16-year-old child on the streets. Then ask not to be bothered again, or say you're willing to meet if and work Lamarck. Lisa, your dad and stepmom beg for your forgiveness on their knees to make up for the hell you endured. Comment 2. It's up to you what you should do. Personally, I'd either delete the email, or respond telling her, thanks for letting you know, and that while you bear her no hard feelings, you have no interest in reconnecting with any of the rest of them. Update 1. First, I want to thank everyone for their kind words and advice. I wasn't looking for advice, just wanted a place to share my story. To those that gave me credit for overcoming everything, thank you. However, the wife thinks she deserves most of it. LOL. And in all honesty, she does. To those that think this is fake, it's Reddit. I get it, it is what it is. Most things have to be taken with a grain of salt. I shared my story, I can't make you believe me. But that's okay, if my story resonates and helps others know they can survive, then I'm happy with that. And that's all that matters. Okay, for the update. Gonna post most of the original email as a lot of you have requested. Kept out some deep personal info, but majority of it is there. Might have to break it up due to character limit. Plus a response with the help of my wife. And also the help of others who made suggestions, which is good because I'm not that great at putting down in words how I feel without coming off looking dumb. She was able to make me sound less dumb. LOL. Taking the family to the lake for the weekend to recharge and leave this all behind me. Thanks again to everyone. Email from stepsister. Dear OP. This is your sister Emily. As I sit down to finally reach out to you after what feels like an eternity, I would like to explain why. I understand if you choose not to read this, but I truly hope you will take the time to at least hear me out. First of all, I want to apologize for never taking the time to contact you before. I was misled by Mark and Dad, who constantly painted a negative picture of you in my mind. They filled my head and heart with lies and made me believe that you were someone you were not. For a while I held on to hope that you would come back home, but as time passed and their words continued to poison my thoughts, I let go of that hope and allowed myself to believe the worst about you. It pains me to admit that I even started to hate you, despite the fact that deep down, I always considered you a brother to me. I felt betrayed by the twisted image that was presented to me, and I regret not reaching out to hear your side of the story sooner. A lot has changed in our family since you left. I got married, and now you're an uncle. Mom and Dad are still together, and are preparing for retirement. Mark and Lisa eventually got married, and they have no children. However, the truth that has recently come to light has shaken the very foundation of everything I thought I knew. On Friday, Lisa overheard Mark boasting about how he orchestrated the setup against you, how he manipulated the situation to make you look bad, and how he convinced us to turn against you to his friends as they all got drunk. They laughed about the pain he caused you, and the lies he spread, all while belittling you in the cruelest and meanest ways possible, saying things like they hope you died in the streets. Lisa couldn't keep this bombshell to herself, and when she confided in me, my world came crashing down. To think that I could have been so wrong about you for all these years is a heavy burden to bear. I can't begin to express how deeply sorry I am, as is Lisa. We both realize now the extent of the manipulation and deceit that was carried out against you, and we are devastated by this fact. After sharing this revelation with Mom and Dad, Dad started crying, like really crying. I've never seen him cry before. I believe it because he has been carrying around a lot of guilt all these years. Obviously, now knowing the truth, he is now having to deal with the consequences of his actions. However, after several hours of talking, we all came to the conclusion that we needed to find you and make amends. I've spent hours trying to locate you, in the hopes that I could reach out and extend a heartfelt apology for the years of misunderstanding and mistreatment and hurt. I know that words can never undo the damage that's been done to you, but I sincerely hope that you can find it in your heart to forgive us. We long to make amends, to start anew, and to maybe even make up for lost time. Please know that I am truly sorry for the pain and hurt that you have endured because of our ignorance and blindness. I hope that someday we can meet in person, so that I can look you in the eye and express my remorse face to face. I can only hope that you will consider giving us a chance to right the wrongs of the past, and to heal the wounds that have been inflicted on you by us. With all my love and sincerest apologies, your sister Emily. Email response from OP. Dear Emily, I appreciate you taking the time to reach out to me, but I must be honest with you. The years of pain and hurt caused by the lies and manipulation by Mark and the betrayal by Dad have left deep scars that will never be truly healed. While I understand that you are now aware of the truth and are genuinely sorry for what has transpired, I find it difficult to simply forgive and forget. The betrayal and abandonment I experienced at the hands of my own family have left me with a sense of distrust and resentment that can never be overcome. The damage that has been done has impacted me in ways that you may never ever fully and truly understand, and the idea of trying to reconcile now feels like an insurmountable task. I have spent years in therapy trying to come to terms with the pain and deep trauma I endured, and I have worked hard to build a wonderful life for myself that does not rely on the presence or approval of those who turn their backs on me. While I am grateful for the apology and the newfound awareness of the truth, I do not feel compelled to rekindle a relationship that was built on lies, deception, and betrayal, especially after all these years. I have found peace and closure in distancing myself from those who caused me harm, and I do not see the need to reopen old wounds in the name of reconciliation. While I believe in the power of forgiveness, that isn't something I can give. I wish you all the best in your life. I really do. But I must prioritize my emotional health and self-preservation above all else. I hope you can respect my decision and understand that the wounds of the past will take a lifetime to heal. I would appreciate if you pass this fact on to the others, and please don't reach out again. I must look to my future, and not my past. Sincerely, OP. Update 2. But thankfully all has been quiet. I think my response made it clear they weren't family anymore and decided to accept it. Outside of that, everything has been good. Actually more than good. Found out we are having a baby boy. Although this wasn't planned, we are super excited, as are the girls. Not gonna lie, I'm a bit nervous. I think my wife can tell. She just keeps telling me I'm a great dad, and not to worry. And yeah, after this one we are done, and I'll be going in for the snip. In the words of Sergeant Mustang, I'm too old for this. Just wanted to leave you guys with a little dad advice. Work hard but stay humble. Never forget how hard you worked to get where you are today. Never forget who you are is so much greater than what you do. Now, for the next story. I got a text from my sister's bestie about her and my husband loving me too much to do anything to hurt me. My sister's bestie told me that she feels guilty for being a snitch, but that she couldn't do this to me anymore, because she thinks that I am a kind person and don't deserve this. My sister and my husband have always got along very well. They're both brilliant, both lecturers at the university, and they have so much in common. I am not stupid, but I never loved school and I have high school education. They have become best friends throughout the years, 14 years, but never once did I feel uncomfortable about it since my husband has shown me nothing but love and respect. The opposite. Until now I counted myself lucky that the two people that I love the most in this world get along so well. But now I feel nauseated. The bestie sent me screenshots upon screenshots of her conversation with my sister. My sister has feelings for my husband and she appears to know that my husband feels the same way about her too. In one of the texts, my sister wrote that she loved me too much to do anything to hurt me. In another she wrote that I am too dear to both her and my husband to do anything that would hurt me. She seems to think that they're soulmates, which is odd, because the talk about soulmates came up once between my husband and I, when I told him that I didn't want us to be soulmates. He was curious and asked me why. I told him because soulmates meant that we are programmed or destined to fit together. There's no free will involved and I want my love to come from a free space, not a predestined place. He laughed and said he loved that. But apparently they're soulmates. I know that I need to talk to him, but I am dreading that. I am in so much despair right now. Edit. Hi. Thanks for your help. I asked how I would be sure before asking my husband so he doesn't just blatantly lie, and you suggested to look into his phone. Thanks for your suggestion. I did now. I told him about my sister's conversations with her best friend and showed him the screenshots. He was shocked at first, and said he had no romantic feelings for her, and he had no idea about her feelings, so I asked to see his phone. I read their texts and emails, and I was shocked that their contact is way more intensive and intense than I thought. They talk on a daily basis. They have lunch multiple times a week. Nothing sexual in the text, but yeah. He is stupid if he doesn't know that she loves him. And he must think that I am stupid if after reading, I wouldn't get the feeling that he has some feelings too. In one of her texts, she wrote that she wished they had met first and under different circumstances. His answer wasn't totally dismissive. He wrote, yeah, it would probably have been different. When I asked him about it, he said, well, yeah. If he didn't know and love me, he would probably have been interested in another, my sister included. But he loves me and she is a close friend of his. So there's no sexual relationship between them, but I am not sure that is enough for me. I think they are both wrong and should have nipped it in the bud way earlier. I don't know what to do now. I think I need time for myself to process this. I don't feel well at all about this, and I don't want to make decisions from a place of fear and hurt nor convenience. I am sorry I can't answer all private messages, because I don't use my phone that often. But our ages are. My husband is 45. I am 42. My sister is 38. My husband and I have been together for 16 years and married for 14. My sister is single. I am not a stay-at-home mom. I have my own business. We don't have children. My sister has 2 from a previous relationship. Edit 2. Like Trey. So now I have had some long talks and discussions with my husband. He seems to think that this is getting bigger than it is supposed to because I told him that I needed time alone to think and digest this. He said that he doesn't understand why I am this hurt since he loves me and nobody else. I didn't relent, however, and he admitted that he knows that my sister is in love with him because she has told him so. But she knows that nothing can happen between them, so she is fine with just friendship. Martyr. He loves her but not romantically, and he is happy to have a friend like her. Their friendship is important to him and he doesn't want it to end, because I don't trust him and his love for me. He made a comparison to my best friend and asked what I would think if he asked me to cut my best friend from my life. He admitted that intellectually he has more in common with her than with me, but that the heart doesn't always choose who we are more compatible, and that he loves and is physically attracted to me. I think this whole situation is messed up. I am repulsed by them both. I texted my sister all her screenshots, and she wrote that she was disappointed in her bestie, and that your husband is all yours, because I would never let anything happen that would hurt you, because you are the most important person to me. In other words, they are both contradicting each other, since both seem to believe that they are the one who is not letting a relationship between them grow for my sake. Comments. Comment 1. 1. If what the friend sent you is true, you need to take a moment and gather your thoughts before this talk you need to have with your husband. If possible, check his phone so you have first-hand look at the communication, not the friend's one. If real, the emotional affair is more than enough of a betrayal. Comment 2. It fully could be one-sided. I agree to look through his phone, but I would ask. I would first show him the messages. Then see how he reacts. If he confirms you got to the bottom of it all immediately, and you have no need to hurt yourself further with whatever is on that phone. If he denies, then I would check. Then if he says he's shocked too and has no feelings for her, then you say, I hope you can understand my point of view when I ask if I can check your phone right now. It reassures me that you're shocked, but I need an extra layer of confirmation. Update 1. I have written here in a few comments about my soon-to-be ex-husband and my sister. I left him about a week after, and he texted me day and night about how much he loved me and wanted me back. Then he just stopped. That's when I found out that my sister left her children at my parents' house and moved in with my husband. This made everything come out to the rest of my family, and my parents were shocked, and my mother really looked like she was already showing pets symptoms about how disgusting she felt this whole thing was. She kept calling it incest and asking, is that even legal? I guess that is how much my sister cared not to hurt me, if you read my first post. Even though I have been well composed and calm, that I surprised myself, I still tried my hardest to look back on my whole life, childhood and upbringing, to understand when it all went so wrong. What my sister did felt like something that was the result of years of resentment, or at least indifference towards me and our relationship as sisters. So how did I miss that? She never cared about me, did she? If she didn't, how could I have been so blind? Then not even a week later I heard that they have ended things. I found out in the oddest way possible. My sister texted me. The first time she texted me since everything started. She just wrote, I hope you burn in life and in hell. I was very confused because she spent that week sharing cheesy deep quotes about love and soulmates and romantic Instagram stories with my stepsh. But apparently that was over. Stipsh has blocked her everywhere and she moved out. Because she came to my parents to get her children. And had a meltdown when they asked for explanation. Dipsh started calling and texting me again, asking me to meet because he wanted to explain, because he was loved me and wanted me to understand. He wanted to meet at least once before we started to meet with the lawyers involved. So that is that. This has left me even more confused than if they just ended up together. I understand falling out and in love, breaking up and starting anew, but I can't explain this. My specs keeps calling me his only love and true friend, and my sister, until I left, kept promising that she would never do anything to hurt me. She left her children at my parents' doorstep, and didn't answer their calls or texts for a week. And all of this for a week. What were they thinking? Has anyone here heard of something like this happening? People throwing everything for not even a week. Update 2. Though was I. After 1 week of being in love and my sister leaving her children at my parents' door, to be living in my home with my soon-to-be ex-husband, and flaunting everything on social media and sharing cheesy quotes, she moved back to her apartment and got her children from my parents. They aren't friends on Feb, and he unfollowed her on Instagram. Now she is saying that I have ruined her happiness, and he started texting me again begging me to talk in private, because he needed to explain everything before we started getting our lawyers involved between us. I understand that people fall out of love and sometimes they can't control who they fall for, and they can hurt many people around them, but I never heard of two people throwing everything they pretended to care about for 1 week.